Chosen one, listen carefully, not with your ears alone, but with your spirit. This is not a casual message. This is a summons, a divine intervention breaking through the veil between time and eternity. You did not arrive here by chance. You were led, drawn by the invisible hand of the Almighty into a moment that was predetermined, a sacred hour etched into heaven's design. Not to comfort you, but to commission you. Not to pacify you, but to awaken you. As C.S. Lewis wrote in Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, we may ignore, but we can nowhere evade, the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. He walks everywhere incognito. This truth resonates with the divine summons you feel now. The stirring in your spirit is not random, it is God's incognito presence breaking through the veil, calling you to a sacred moment of commissioning. Lewis's words urge you to recognize that this message is heaven's intervention, awakening you to your divine purpose. Heaven has marked this very moment, and you are standing in the center of a supernatural collision, a clash between delay and breakthrough, between accusation and vindication, between prolonged silence and the thunder of God's voice breaking forth. And you, chosen one, are not on the outskirts, you are the axis upon which this battle is turning. The spiritual realm is not far above you, it surrounds you, pressing in, fully engaged. Your life, your tears, your silent endurance, all of it has reached the court of the Most High. God has seen you. He has witnessed the sleepless nights, the quiet prayers, the ache behind your smile, the strength you showed when you felt like collapsing. Not one cry has been lost. Not one moment of silent pain has gone unseen. Everything you thought was buried has been presented before the highest throne, and today, heaven responds. The silence is over. The verdict has been released. The voice of God declares, enough. The situation is resolved. In the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis wrote, the safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts. This warning illuminates the enemy's attempts to prolong your silence and delay your breakthrough. The adversary sought to lull you into accepting despair as normal, hoping you'd walk a gentle slope of doubt. Lewis's insight urges you to see this divine summons as God's disruption of that subtle descent, proclaiming your vindication with thunderous clarity. You may ask, why now? Why me? But in the divine order, there are no accidents. Timing in heaven is not delayed, nor is it early, it is precise. This moment has been scheduled on your behalf. The words you are reading did not come searching for someone else. They came searching for you. The Spirit of God has stirred the atmosphere above you. Something has shifted. The heavens are open. A spiritual veil has grown thin. The word is flowing like breath to a drowning soul, like light into a room long forgotten. And you know this already. Deep down, your spirit recognizes that something is different. Something holy has entered your space. You have endured private battles that no one saw. You've carried burdens in silence, wept in darkness, and questioned whether God was still near, still attentive, still moving. But even when you could not feel him, he was there. Even when you said nothing, your heart was still heard. Now the one who has been near all along speaks with clarity. I have never left you. I have been beside you the whole time, and now I rise to act on your behalf. There is something ancient awakening inside you, something you didn't learn but always carried. It is not emotion, it is knowing. You are not simply reacting to words, you are remembering truth. For even before the foundations of the earth were laid, you were already known. There was already a purpose placed within your soul, and now that purpose is being reawakened. You were not abandoned. You were hidden, protected, preserved, prepared. What tried to break you only refined you. What tried to silence you only made your spirit more sensitive to the voice of God. And now, chosen one, the moment of divine reversal has arrived. You are not being merely consoled, you are being activated. You are not being pitied, you are being positioned. What has stood in your way is being removed. What once delayed you has expired. What accused you has been overruled. There has been a spiritual ruling in your favor. The weight of the past has lifted, not by your effort, but by divine decree. You are no longer bound by what was spoken against you. You are no longer held hostage by who hurt you. You are no longer defined by what went wrong. The one who holds all authority has said, "This child of mine set free." In Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis wrote, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg." This metaphor captures your journey of transformation. The private battles and silent endurance were the cracking of the shell, preparing you to soar into your divine purpose. Lewis's words urge you to embrace this moment of activation, recognizing that the refining fires have readied you to fly into the freedom God has decreed. You need to understand the magnitude of what has just happened in the realm you cannot see. The opposition that stood against you, spiritual, emotional, even relational, has been brought into the court of heaven. The one who accuses, the adversary of your soul, tried to make a case against your future, against your identity, against your worth. He gathered every misstep, every moment of weakness, every lie spoken over you, and every lie you believed about yourself. He attempted to present them as evidence to delay your breakthrough, to shame you into silence, to bury your voice in fear. But his voice was drowned out by a louder one, the voice of the Creator who formed you. And that voice spoke not with pleading, not with negotiation, but with final authority. "This one is mine, this one is cleared, this one will rise." The charges are dropped, the weight is lifted, the case is closed. You were never meant to earn favor, you were meant to carry it. You do not need to fight for acceptance, you already have it. You don't need to beg for restoration, it is already underway. This is not a gentle encouragement or a vague hope, this is a spiritual ruling, and it is irreversible. When heaven speaks, nothing beneath it can override the command. The accusations are silenced, the curse is broken. The grip of darkness has been shattered, not by your striving, but by the compassion of the one who loves you without condition. Do not downplay this moment. Do not explain it away or delay your response. When heaven moves, response must follow. There is an invitation in this revelation, but it is also a command. Stand up, speak up, step forward. If this resonates in your spirit, then say it out loud or deep within. I agree with heaven's decision. I am not who I was. I am who he says I am. I am free. The very act of agreement seals the shift. Your consent matters. Your voice has weight in the spirit. When you speak in alignment with God's voice, the atmosphere around you begins to change. The darkness loses hold. The lingering effects of the old season begin to fall away. You are not stepping into possibility. You are stepping into decree. This is not a symbolic momenti, is a turning point written in the eternal. When you feel fear rise, when old shame tries to whisper, when doubt creeps close, you must speak truth in response. My case has already been settled by the Most High. My victory is secure. My life is ruled by divine authority. Every time you declare that truth, you reinforce the boundary between you and what tried to enslave you. Every statement becomes a wall that the enemy cannot cross. You are no longer available for the lies that once lured you. You are no longer trapped in the identity that pain tried to build around you. You are covered, you are called, you are chosen, and no voice in hell has the power to reverse what heaven has ruled. Chosen one, you need to know this truth in your bones. The one who stood against you, who whispered you were unworthy, who reminded you daily of your flaws, who tried to drag your name through the dust has been utterly defeated. In the realm beyond your eyes, a confrontation took place. The adversary, the one who collects accusations like weapons, who waits in silence to speak shame into your soul, stepped forward and tried to declare that your mistakes outweighed your calling. He came bearing your past like a chain. He came with records, distortions, and half-truths meant to poison your view of yourself. But before he could finish, a higher voice interrupted. The highest authority spoke, and the accuser's words collapsed under the weight of divine mercy. In the weight of glory, C.S. Lewis wrote, "There are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal." This truth underscores your eternal significance in this divine ruling. You are not an ordinary soul burdened by past mistakes. You are a chosen vessel, cleared by heaven's verdict to carry divine favor. Lewis's words urge you to embrace your identity as one marked by God, stepping boldly into the victory decreed for you. You need to understand, this was not a negotiation, this was not a debate, it was a sovereign ruling, and the judgment was final. You were declared free, you were declared whole, you were declared worthy, not because of your perfection, but because of his compassion. The case against you crumbled, the lies were swallowed by light, and the enemy was silenced. He cannot speak what heaven has overruled. He cannot curse what God has already blessed. He cannot touch what has been marked as chosen. But understand this, the adversary's last weapon is deception. If he cannot accuse you before God, he will try to accuse you before yourself. He will disguise shame as humility, fear as caution, and spiritual paralysis as wisdom. He will try to convince you that nothing has really changed, that you are still waiting for approval, that you are still unworthy of the future that now stands before you. But don't believe him. That voice no longer has legal access to your life. The chains he forged have been broken. He stands on the outside now, powerless, watching as you rise. Your consent is no longer his. Your energy is no longer his to drain. Your identity is sealed not by emotion, not by people, but by God himself. So walk forward now, not in hesitation, but with certainty. Say it out loud if you must. The one who stood against me is defeated. I belong to the Most High. I walk in victory. Let the atmosphere around you hear it. Let your mind be reprogrammed by truth. Let your body feel the weight lifting. Let your soul catch fire again. This is not a partial win, it is a complete overthrow. You were not rescued to survive, you were freed to rise. Chosen one, you've often questioned your own clarity. You've second-guessed the knowing that rose up in you, the sudden insight, the silent alarm, the deep calm that defied chaos. You've wondered if you were overreacting, too sensitive, too spiritual, too cautious. But I tell you now, your discernment was not a flaw, it was a gift. That awareness you carried wasn't paranoia, it was prophecy. It didn't come from fear, it came from divine seeing. While others needed proof, you already felt the truth echo in your spirit. And you were right. There's a reason you held your tongue while others spoke. A reason you stepped back when others pushed forward. You weren't avoiding conflict, you were perceiving patterns. You weren't blind, you were being shown something deeper. And now the veil lifts. What you saw but couldn't yet name is coming into focus. The characters revealed themselves, the mask slipped. The true nature behind the surface has been exposed, not through drama, but through revelation. You didn't need to confront it confronted itself in your presence. You didn't seek revenge, you waited. And in that waiting, heaven worked. Your quietness was not weakness, it was obedience. Your silence wasn't surrender, it was sacred restraint. You allowed the truth to unfold instead of forcing exposure. You listened longer. You watched more deeply. You waited until the full shape of reality emerged. And now, your patience is being honored. Your perception, your inner compass, your depth of understanding it is heaven's mark on you. This isn't something you learned in school or picked up from pain, it is embedded into your being. I placed it there. It is your inheritance. Others may not understand it. They may accuse you of being distant, guarded, unreadable. But what they call distance is depth. What they call silence is strategy. What they misunderstand is your sacred clarity. Because you don't just hear words, you feel the intention behind them. You don't just see actions, you discern their roots. You don't need to respond to every storm because you are anchored beneath the surface. This gift is rare. Protect it. Do not waste it on shallow validation or emotional warfare. Let your knowing remain rooted in peace. Let it guide you not to pride, but to purpose. Because your role is not to shout for attention, it is to stand in alignment. Your influence is not in loudness, it is in stillness. When others flail in confusion, you remain grounded in presence. That is your power, so trust it now more than ever. As new things begin to unfold, trust your inner signal. The same spirit that revealed the hidden things will guide your next steps. You are not guessing, you are perceiving. You are not walking blind, you are being led. And what's coming next will require that same clarity, that same patience, that same depth. It has served you before, and it will serve you again. Because you are not just chosen, you are sighted. You don't follow trends, you follow the truth. Chosen one, you are not who you were, even if your surroundings haven't changed yet. Even if others still speak to you as though you are the person you used to be, something fundamental within you has shifted. You have outgrown the identity that was formed by trauma, by survival, by people-pleasing, by proving your worth through striving. That old self, the one that learned to bend, shrink, overcompensate, or endure silently, is now dissolving. You are shedding layers that never truly belonged to you, not because you are falling apart, but because you are finally becoming whole. In Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis wrote, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. This insight captures the transformative power of your endured pain. The silent battles and sleepless nights were God's megaphone, shouting through your struggles to awaken your true identity. Lewis's words urge you to embrace this holy disorientation as the unmaking of falsehood, positioning you to step into the radiant wholeness God has decreed. This is not a breakdown. This is the breakthrough, the unmaking of falsehood, the unlearning of everything that kept you tethered to a version of life that was never meant to define you. You were not created to merely endure. You were not placed on this earth to perform for acceptance, to bury your voice to keep the peace, or to chase significance through exhaustion. You were created to be, to walk in the sacred rhythm of one who knows who they are without apology, without fear, without needing to explain. And so now, you may feel disoriented. What once felt familiar now feels foreign. What once defined you no longer fits. You look in the mirror and see someone in transition, someone who is no longer chained to the survival mindset, but hasn't yet fully arrived in their radiant form. Let this not alarm you. This is what becoming real looks like. This is the holy disorientation that comes just before emergence. If this message has ignited your spirit, if you feel the sacred weight of this divine summons, don't remain silent. Declare your faith and claim this moment of breakthrough by commenting below, I agree with heaven's decision. I am free to rise in my divine purpose. Let this be your act of agreement, your bold step into alignment with heaven's verdict. Share this message with others who need to hear it, for there are more chosen ones waiting to awaken to their victory. Write it now, chosen one, and let heaven see your heart. The veil has lifted, and your declaration will seal this sacred moment. You are stepping into a way of being that is not driven by fear or shame. You are no longer pulled by the compulsion to do everything or be everything. You are being led by peace, not pressure, clarity, not chaos. You are walking away from cycles that drained your spirit, conversations that pulled you into smallness, and obligations that had nothing to do with your calling. You are not abandoning anyone. You are simply choosing not to abandon yourself anymore. This new way of being will feel lighter, not because life will suddenly be easy, but because you will no longer be carrying what is not yours. Your identity will no longer be filtered through who hurt you or who misunderstood you. You will move from a place of quiet strength, and you will find that your very presence speaks truth. Even when your mouth is silent, you were never meant to fight for your light. You were meant to stand in it. And now that light is being restored, uncovered, and called forth, Let the false self fall away. Let the striving cease. Let the opinions lose their grip. You do not need to make yourself smaller to be loved. You do not need to edit your truth to be accepted. What is meant for you will find you when you are fully yourself. And that cell phone that is emerging, was the one I have loved from the beginning. So walk forward, not into performance, but into presence. Your worth is not on trial. It has been declared. Your identity is not in question. It has been sealed. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. And in that return, you will find peace that can no longer be shaken. Chosen one, you are standing at a threshold. This is not a metaphor, not poetry. It is a sacred reality in the spirit. Before you lies a divine opening, a gate carved not by man but by the hand of God himself. And while his love is eternal, this invitation is not. There are moments in eternity when heaven opens a passage and calls you forward, not casually, not indefinitely, but now. This is one of those moments. You feel it in your bones, in the shifts around you, in the way time seems suspended. The world has not changed on the surface, but something deep beneath it has cracked open. You've seen the signs repeating patterns, uncanny timing, divine interruptions. These were not coincidences. They were heaven's signals. You've been sensing a strange restlessness, a quiet inner urgency that whispers, something is about to shift. That is not your imagination. That is your spirit recognizing the call. But you must understand this call cannot be met halfway. It is not a polite suggestion. It is a summons. And like every holy invitation, it requires everything. Not because God is harsh, but because what's coming cannot be carried by the old you. This crossing demands surrender complete, total, without looking back. You cannot carry the past across this line. You cannot bring fear, indecision, or pride through this gate. What is required is a full yes, even without full understanding, even without guarantees. This is where trust becomes more than a word. This is where faith becomes movement. You do not need to know every step ahead. You only need to respond. When the spirit stirs, when the door opens, when the light beckons, you must act. This is not pressure, it is privilege. To be chosen to move when heaven opens a way is to be marked by divine favor. But many sense the moment and freeze. Many hear the call and hesitate, expecting a second chance, not realizing that some doors are only meant for now. So this is your moment. Do not delay. Prepare yourself. Fast if you must. Clear the noise. Be still. Let your spirit settle into sacred awareness. Speak to your Creator plainly, even trembling, even in tears. Say, I do not feel ready, but I say yes. That yes offered in trust, not strength is enough to open what no one else can shut. Your surrender will be met by divine acceleration. Your obedience will unlock what striving never could. This is not a call to do more. It is a call to become, to step into the fullness of who you were designed to be. You are not standing at the edge of more tasks. You are standing at the beginning of transformation. But this moment will not wait forever. When heaven declares the hour, the appointed ones must rise. And you, chosen one, have been appointed. Chosen one, the threshold you now cross is not marked by one dramatic event. It is sustained through a new rhythm of living. Heaven is not only calling you to a moment of surrender, but to a life of alignment. This new path cannot be walked with old habits. You must now live differently, deliberately, devotionally, and attuned to the unseen. The way forward is not paved with more effort, but with deeper presence. Not by performing more, but by returning to the stillness where heaven speaks. Your daily life must now reflect your calling. That does not mean becoming someone you're noted. It means unlearning the ways of the world that numbed your spirit. It means returning to simplicity, choosing what is quiet over what is loud, choosing what nourishes over what distracts. You are being invited to protect your spiritual atmosphere with the seriousness of a holy charge. You cannot afford to be careless with your attention. The conversations you engage in, the words you listen to, the emotions you entertain, all of it shapes your sensitivity to the divine. You are not fragile, you are receptive, and that is sacred. You will begin to feel the tug of heaven in small ways, in the moment before you respond with anger, in the pause before you agree to something that drains you, in the subtle discomfort when you enter a space not meant for your spirit. These are not coincidences, they are instructions. You are being trained now by the Spirit in how to live from a place of internal clarity. The way you carry yourself, even in the unseen moments, is becoming a form of worship. Your inner stillness is now your protection. Your focus is now your warfare. Your peace is now your path. And so, begin with the small. Each morning, before the world rushes in, pause, breathe, whisper simply, "I am here to listen." This is not performance, it is reorientation. Before decisions, stop and check inward. In your learning, in your relationships, in your workday, aware of the flow within. This is not a rigid discipline, it is a divine dance. You move with heaven, not ahead of it. You act when prompted. You speak when led. You withdraw when stirred. And in doing so, you become synchronized with the realm that governs all others. Even your smallest acts can now become holy when they're done with intention, with gratitude, with awareness of the presence within you. If fear rises, speak plainly. I do not belong to fear. I walk in divine alignment. When uncertainty clouds your mind, return to peace, not panic. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being invited to live awake. This is a shift, not just of actions, but of existence. You are not merely adjusting habits. You are creating a sacred environment for heaven's voice to remain near. In that stillness, the world will blur, but the divine will become clear. Your soul will begin to respond to heaven like a well-tuned instrument. You will begin to move not with pressure, but with peace, not with striving, but with flow. Chosen one. The lifestyle of the called is not busy, it is burning. Burning with clarity, burning with devotion, burning with unshakable peace. Live like one who has heard from heaven because you have. Chosen one, now comes the moment where everything in your spirit aligns with what heaven has declared. This is not about speaking the perfect words, it is about opening the deepest part of yourself, unguarded, honest, bare before the one who already knows you completely. You do not have to perform here. You do not have to fix yourself first. You simply have to return to the one who called you before you had a name, to the one whose voice has been whispering through the storms, waiting for your full yes. So wherever you are, close your eyes if you feel led. Silence the noise. Feel your breath. Let your spirit speak from that hidden place within you, the place that has never been lost, only waiting to be remembered. Say these words aloud if you can, or let them echo from your soul. I stand before you now, my Creator, not as someone trying to earn love, but as someone finally willing to receive it. I lay down the masks, the roles, the defenses, the expectations. I surrender my false self, the one shaped by shame, fear, rejection, and striving. I release it now. I release every label placed upon me by people, by pain, or by my past. I am not what happened to me. I am who you have always said I am. I accept this sacred moment. I see it for what it is, not a coincidence, but a divine confrontation. You are not just calling me to feel better, you are calling me to rise, to remember who I was before life buried me in survival. You are awakening something ancient, something holy, something unshakable within me, and I say yes. Even in trembling, even in uncertainty, I say yes. Renew my mind. Rewire my inner script. Strip away every false belief I have accepted as truth. I do not belong to fear. I do not belong to the accuser. I belong to you. Let your voice be the only voice that defines me from this moment forward. Restore my identity not based on what I've done, but based on who you are in me. You knew me before I was formed. You see me now fully. You walk beside me even in silence. And still you choose me. Still you call me chosen. I received it. I claim it. I rise into it. Chosen one. This prayer is not the end, it is the unlocking. The ground you now stand on is holy, not because of location, but because of divine visitation. Do not let this moment pass like any other. Mark it, remember it. The very atmosphere around you has shifted. Something has been activated in the unseen. Chains have fallen that you didn't even know were wrapped around your voice. Permission has been given for you to step fully into your name, your light, your authority. This is where shame unravels. This is where confusion ends. This is where heaven touches earth and something inside you finally says, I was born for this. Chosen one, the shift has already begun. You may not see it in full yet, but in the unseen realm, something irreversible has moved in your favor. The breakthrough is not slowly approaching, it has been released. And when heaven releases a thing, it does not crawl in with hesitation, it erupts. It interrupts what was stuck. It overturns what was settled in the wrong direction. It brings divine reversal with holy force. You asked for relief, but heaven is sending restoration. You hope to survive, but God has declared that you will flourish. What you thought would take years to repair, He is restoring in a moment. This is not wishful thinking. It is the consequence of spiritual authority. When the one who holds time speaks, even time must obey. Delays dissolve, strongholds break. The atmosphere around your life begins to make room for what was spoken in the Spirit. You will feel it, not always in obvious events, but in how the atmosphere bends to make space for your steps. The right doors open without force. People are removed quietly without conflict. Opportunities align with uncanny timing. And inside you, peace will confirm what anxiety cannot sabotage. You are not forcing your future into place, it is responding to your agreement with divine order. You are not striving for favor, you are moving under it. And yes, some things may fall apart, but not as punishment, not as a loss. What breaks now breaks open. What ends now was not worthy of your next beginning. Let it go. Release the pieces that no longer carry God's presence. What's coming cannot fit inside the systems that wounded you. The space you feel is not emptiness, it is preparation. Heaven is carving room for something greater. And what fills it next will not be counterfeit, temporary, or draining. It will bear the signature of the one who chose you. You will begin to walk in a rhythm that surprises even you. Favor will find you in rooms you never asked to enter. Rest will replace inner war. Your voice will carry new weight, not because it's louder, but because it's aligned. You will speak from the root, not the wound. Your presence will become a disruption to darkness, not by effort, but by embodiment. This is what happens when the chosen rise. This is what unfolds when heaven says, it is time. You are no longer waiting for a breakthrough. You are walking in it. It is here. It is holy. It is now. So step boldly. Let every step declare what the enemy feared you'd never believe. I am chosen. I am free. I am moving in the authority of the Most High. And let the world adjust accordingly. Amen.